Okay, we've been thinking about this a lot, and I think we're coming up with a plan. Right now, I'm going to tell you that we're thinking 2 days a week, and the reason for that is we're going to do a kind of a 2 month program, 2 days a week, and there will be some people that go ahead and slip ahead, and some will slide back or be more difficult for them. And rather than to mix those two, we'll probably do if some people want to go to a faster group, then we'll do them. We might do have to do 3 or 4 times a week, which is still better than me trying to do 3 people at a time and taking care of everything. And that's the reason I've gotten too old watching doing this. I've got a lot of things. I have assets, and I'm not working on anything of mine, and I'm poorer than I've ever been. And and anyway, so I wanted to keep going. This is the only way I can think of to do it. Is teach people at a time, and we're thinking right now. I've got to have some help. I've got to have a staff. I've got a paralegal that's going to join me. I've got a um, producer for the videos, um, and I think I've even got a whiz kid. Um, how did she say it? She's a she's tech savvy, but she doesn't like tech. Anyway, I've got to get some more people. That's a real company. That's how it should have been run from the first place, and that's how I've got to do it now, or I've got to quit. But I think we can do this. I'm pretty sure that this is the way to do it. So, what we're going to do is we're going to assemble. We're going to disassemble what will soon be, I think, the best one I've done ever, and it's got more characters in the play than any other. It's got more dastardly crime than any other, and it's gone relatively quickly. It also has done one other thing, and I don't know. Some of you may not know that I think like this. I used to say it all the time, um, but I'm not looking for the same things that you are. I already looked for those 15 years ago, and I found them. And I don't care how good the statute is you think you found and how sure you are it's a silver bullet and how much you want to tell the judges all about it. If it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter because there was always an easier way. There was always an easier way. So it's the burden that's placed on you, you place on you. Your real burden, your constitutional burden, is to sit there and shut up and say one thing: I have never been in default with any of these characters. We'll find a better word for it. Um, you were never, you never had the burden of proving you were being defrauded. I took it the same way you did. I did it probably exactly like you. I tried to prove the fraud, and the guy that was watching it was the judge, and he never said anything. You could say that, they drug me behind a car, threw me in a culvert with a bear, and left me there. Uh, and the judge is still staring out the window, thinking about that boat he's going to get from the money that's flying around the room somewhere. And I, I never would. I had a terrible time believing it was the judiciary. But I would tell you right now, and I hate to admit it, it's the federal judges at the district court level that are saving the day against Trump. Someone told me I shouldn't be political. This isn't political. We have a madman at the helm, and crazier than a loon, but he's charismatic, and that's happening in life. For a long time, half the people believed that he was the new Messiah, and half of us thought that he needed to be institutionalized. That's my group. I don't find that to be political at all. That would be um, you know Reagan type Republican and Joe Biden. You know, and if you don't like Joe Biden, I don't care. I tell you this: is that we had the best economy in the world 4 months ago, and now everybody on the planet hates us. Now, but I'm done with it. for the moment. Um, my point being is that Trump has caused so much trouble that it scared the living hell out of the district court judges. You know, they have jobs for life. What do they? They don't want a dictator. Why would they want a dictator? They got jobs for life. They know what to do. They can do a good job. For all I know, they're so scared they don't ever want to do that stuff again. I don't know, but I can tell you this: is that they are at least neutral now, and at neutral we win. So, what we're going to do is take. In my whole theory from start to finish, but 2012 was already there. Is that I thought that I'd learned that the constitutional duties of a judge were to review the complaint, petition, the original lawsuit, probably in state court, to review that to see if the foreclosing party had written down that they had suffered they had suffered an injury in fact, a real injury of some kind, and not like an injury like a broken leg, but like money. And the only injury that the people we're dealing with um, is that they either did or did not loan you money. You promised to pay it back, and now you're not paying it back. That would be a real injury. In 1994, there were only 49 foreclosures in Jackson County, Missouri, which is most of Kansas City, and that's 800,000 people. 49 for the entire year of 94. The Glass-Steagall Act was repealed in 1999. By 2002, there were 1,200 per month in Jackson County, Missouri. 49 per year, 1,200 per month, and nothing changed except they deregulated Wall Street. Who would do that? Well, Clinton, a Democrat, and a Republican Congress. Together, they did that. No one has ever put anything back. Nothing's been fixed, and right now we have more foreclosures than ever. And I think it's because their boats are getting scarred up and beat up, and they wanted more boats. Whatever's going on, I can tell you that it's fairly intense, and it all includes the same things. Is that all of the things you're chasing? Constitutionally, someone has to say that they've suffered an injury, and if they don't say that, there can be no standing. Without standing, there can be no court matter jurisdiction. It's all so simple for us now. Did they write it down or did they not? And it's not just writing down that you have an injury. They have to include at the beginning in their first writing. And I say first writing because of non-judicial and judicial, but what I'm saying is that if they're answering you in a non-judicial foreclosure, you're the plaintiff. And if they're in a judicial foreclosure, they're the plaintiff, you're the defendant. But you're really the defendant in both. You're defending yourself in the foreclosure action when you're trying to say that they didn't have a right to do it. And I have never seen any foreclosing party. You say that because is it a servicer? Is it U.S. Bank? Is it what other pretender is it? Only one of in this case, probably 15 different characters, more than I've ever seen, all of them worthless. None of them were going to write it down. And they did not. And so my plan is to just take the state judge ruling against you illegally and sue him just as it's about to get bad in federal court. My reason for that is I don't have any clients that weren't afraid of losing their house, including me. I don't have any clients that weren't sure what to do. And I've had all of my clients trying to prove that they're having someone commit fraud against them. Well, yeah, they are. It doesn't do any good to complain about that. You have to get in a position where the judge is uncomfortable as you are. In this case, I overdid it, and I'm actually to a point now where I didn't know to go to another court. I tried to do it in the court I was in. I have sued federal judges and state judges, and just didn't win, but I was that close. And that's what makes me really mad. Um, the they have to come up with the proof that you borrowed money from them, whoever they are. The foreclosing party will never say they loaned you money. They'll only say you signed a note one time. And let's get another thing. I'm going to say a lot. I'm going to say, let's say security instrument, because a mortgage and a deed of trust are security instruments, but they're two different states, two different, non-judicial and judicial. But it's really the security instrument. So the mortgage is what they're dealing in now, because I have not seen them present the promissory note. Forget looking it up. Forget where it is. Forensic on it, you find the note. What have you done? You've testified against yourself. You've told them where it is, and it's not there. No one's no one's ever found one. The forensic audit guy, what he's doing is looking what the SEC report said. They said, can we have permission to try to sell stock in this pile of securities? And then they got the okay to do it, but they didn't really do that. They didn't really get investors. There really aren't any stock investors. Um, and and we're going to drop it right there, because prove me wrong. Let's don't debate whether I'm right. Just prove me wrong. That's what it's all about anyway, proving everything. So the burden of the borrower is only to say, I'm not in fault with these guys, and you're not. Your money probably came from Wall Street. It came to your loan. Whoever was the broker, not the lender that you dealt with, it was the broker brokering money, which they had to tell you they were doing, and they had to tell you how much you were making. And that's not going to make any difference. We bring it up. What I'm saying is that I don't know that I've ever seen a loan where I believe the money that came in a wire, and we've subpoenaed them and everything else, and it's really hard to get a hold of the real evidence, because they're major crimes. So I've not seen a note presented by the bad guys at all in 10 years. For the first 5 years, I saw a lot of copies. I heard stories about, well, it's at the lawyer's house or at the lawyer's office, and it's in a safe that's in the floor. It's not what it is. First of all, if it isn't security, mortgage-backed security, not just the mortgage go in there, because they have to stay with the note. The mortgage is not the note. The mortgage is not the loan. The contract for the loan is the note. You have to have that. If you don't have it, you have to prove the whole thing is true, that you did have the note and you had it honestly. They can't prove it. They won't prove it, because it's perjury. Now, so let's make this all simpler. We're not looking for all these guys. You just sort them. You look at them and you watch them and you read what they say, if they say anything. And then you look to see if, let's say you're in a either non-judicial or judicial court. You become the plaintiff when you sue them for when you go on to the federal court. What you have to do, because the state court judges are more often going to finish the scam, finish the con, thinking they've done it so many times, they're not smart enough. They're elected like prom queens. Federal court judges are nominated by a president, and more than anything, a federal court judge cannot be fired. You can't get rid of him unless you deprive a party, either party, in a lawsuit, in a court case. You can't deprive a citizen of a civil right. And here we're talking about due process, the 5th and 14th Amendments. So we're only looking for someone to write down, they have to do it right away. If no one does it, that's bam. You say it. Hey, no one has done this, Judge. No one said that. Forget all the stuff you're thinking. Forget about boats. Forget about everything. You have a foreclosing party that never said why they can foreclose. It's kind of over there, although it drags on a little bit because you have to beat on them, but it made it so much easier. It's so much easier for me because now I can see everything that's happening on a game board. I know when we're um, reaching a stage where we need to do this and do that. And so a really long lawsuit would be, a year. I kept people in their houses for 6, 7, 8 years up until the year 2017. And then I went back to the judge thing completely. So the we're thinking about, doing these classes, and we're going to take one of the better lawsuits, and we're going to take out names and leave in words. And so the caption itself, we have to talk about who who do you need to sue? How many defendants do you need? I come up anymore with like 3, but I used to have 13, 15. You know, I was trying to sue everyone that ever made my wife cry, which I had to sue me. Now that's a lie. It is a lie. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Anyway, so um, you're only going to sue like maybe the successor trustee for preparing a trustee's deed when there is no one to give it to. That's what I'm dealing with today, and we'll deal with it again. So the trustee, successor trustee, and why he was succeeded, that's a long story we're not talking today. I'm gonna try to do this kind of fast today because I want to do shorter ones. I think my long ones are too hard to follow for too long. So we're going to break it down, and we're going to start, and I think we're going to do 950 unless we get to 10 or more, and then do them for 750 a month for 2 months. And that includes all the classes we have to do. It also includes during that period, you'll send in what you've done to that point, and not just me, I'll have other people now. We'll look at them to say, okay, here's what they've done, here's what they should do. Let's give them some advice and put this thing together so that they'll understand it. I say I got old, what if I die? And you're 2/3 finished or 3/4, and you could finish it from there, and you're waiting for me to do it otherwise. And I don't want to do that anymore. I want you to know exactly how you put it together and why it's supposed to work. And that's what we're going to try to teach. So I invite questions to um, the info.mortgagempg@gmail.com, or on here. Put your comments on here. I'll look both places. I don't know how many I can answer because I never expected this year or the last 3 years to have so many people in foreclosure. I can't help 2 or 3 at a time, and it's I'm just I'm just an ant in a whirlwind. It's not an ant. It's something. I'm something in a whirlwind. So let's get more people done, and then we'll spread the word. And then I can go back to being a real estate developer, which is what I am and what I can make a lot of money at. And I'm not, I wouldn't even make any money at this, but if I can make it break even and still I'm sitting in my real estate. My house is part of my real estate project. Um, and it's, pretty big, the project. I'll be here for a long time. Um, but also, I don't have to go anywhere else. I can sit here and do what we're doing here, and all of us will work together to help you understand what you did. Send it in, and we'll maybe we laugh at it. But when we get done, we'll see the good parts, and we'll help you put it together. Um, and I think it'll work. I really do. Um, if it comes down to the people that cannot pay, simply cannot pay, I'm going to require that everyone subscribe to this channel, that everyone likes everything they like. If we get a join, everybody joins it, because we're going to form an association of people. But also, we can get the ad money. That's free. It doesn't cost anybody anything, and we can help people with that. We can help people that pay. Return some of the money if we make a lot of money. And you can make a lot. Not very many people do, but I think we can. In this case, we've got 30 million injured families. Let's find some. So you're going to have um, subscribe. And I'd like for you to like, unless you really don't like one, don't like a video you don't like. But if I've got videos, just go through all of them and like them, and let's get some numbers up and see if you can make the money. I'm watching these guys. I've been watching some guys for like a year and a half, go from being in their garage to having guys that supporting Ukraine that send the big trucks and things over, and they go there themselves and they go on trips. Oh, I was on a vacation. I haven't been on a vacation in years. Probably you guys haven't. Okay, that's done. I'm done. So I'm going to be on here as often as I can. The reason I haven't this week is I'm in the middle of trying to finish this thing, and in fact, no, I'm not going to say that. Let's just say some things didn't get done that I thought got done, and they didn't kill it. But my whole plan is based on speed because we want to surprise them and astonish them. We want them to think that you're getting exponentially smarter every time you write something, because you will be getting exponentially smarter. And we want them to know that. I'm getting a producer, but I still don't know how to stop this without reaching really cool up here to the right and act like I'm not doing it. Okay, have a good evening, and I'll be back soon.